Once you see this, you will see competitive games differently. And let's lock in.
You know what's kind of weird? When someone asks what kind of games do you like, most people struggle to answer. You say tactical shooters, and they respond, "Oh, so you must like Counter-Strike, Valorant, and Rainbow Six Siege." And you say, actually only Counter-Strike. You say strategy games, and someone recommends you Civilization, when you wanted something more like Hearthstone. Game genres are kind of broken. But I think there's a better way to think about this. And
Okay.
it's a much simpler way to look at games. And once you see it, you'll see games much more differently. But let's start somewhere everyone can agree. Every game has something that separates the good players from the bad ones. Sometimes it's pure skill, your reflexes, your aim, your timing. Sometimes it's information, knowing things the other person doesn't. Sometimes it's something harder to name, the mental side, reading people, managing randomness, and adapting on the fly.
I feel like I could probably maybe answer the question kind of right. I like games that are like really complicated. You need hours and hours to actually be able to get good at it or be considered good. Like I like games that have like all of everything pretty much. Like timing, like game sense, like just everything. Like all the games that I play, you kind of have to like all the games that I actually like really like. Not all the games I play. Like mostly it's a mix of everything. It's not really a one genre. It's like the hardest pretty much.
These aren't just different skills, they are fundamentally different kinds of gameplay, and most games mix them together in different
Yeah,
events.
yeah.
So let me give you three words: micro, meso, macro. Now here's where it gets interesting, and a little uncomfortable. What if I told you the clearest way to understand what a game is actually testing is to think about how you'd cheat in it? If you wanted to completely break a game to make it trivially easy, what cheat would you use?
Ooh.
The answer
Wait,
to
wait. I actually understand what he's saying. Technically, you could cheat in so many different ways. In the types of games I like to play, you could cheat in so many different games. Like have like aimbot. Aimbot works. Wall hacks. Like you could cheat in so many different ways, and it's still cheating. Like it still impacts kind of the same, I guess.
that question tells you more about a game than any genre label ever could. So let's put this to the test. What is micro? Micro is the
Oh,
execution
so
layer. It's your aim, your timing, your movement, your muscle memory. An example of a micro cheat looks like an aimbot.
whoa.
Perfect
What did I
input
just
cheat
see?
looks like an movement, your muscle
Yo, what in the world? Like, bro, is this Peterbot? Yo, why is Peterbot going like that, bro?
memory. An example of a micro cheat looks like an aimbot. Perfect inputs every single time. If a game can be broken by perfect execution, that's a micro game. Osu, Geometry Dash, Aim Trainers, and Tetris are a few examples. You can cheat in Osu with perfect cursor tracking. You can cheat in Geometry Dash with perfect jumps. These are execution cheats, and you can feel the microness when you play them. Meso is the probability layer, the place where mind games exist. You're reacting to the unpredictable nature of people, not mechanics. A meso cheat looks like stream sniping, knowing someone's habits before they show them, reading cooldowns, seeing things
What?
you shouldn't see yet. The best example for the
So it's
purest
just
meso game
like, kind of like wall hacks. Like you're just saying stuff you're not supposed to see. Like you know stuff you're not supposed to know.
is rock, paper, scissors. There's zero execution skill. It's entirely mental and
So a
probability.
meso game is
Among
rock
Us
paper
also
scissors.
runs on Meso,
Yeah.
so does Liar's Bar. Even the stock market is built around.
So the way you could win, so the way you could cheat is by knowing what they're thinking or knowing what they're gonna do. So like wall hacks is meso.
This layer.
Like if you would
If you wanted
if
to cheat in Among Us,
yeah.
you'd stream snipe to know who the imposter is. If you wanted to cheat in stocks, you'd insider trade. Notice how none of these cheats involve executing anything better. They involve knowing something you shouldn't.
Yep.
Macro is the system's layer. It's your routing, your resource management, and your win condition. You can think of it like the mathematically correct way of winning the game. A macro cheat looks like a chess engine, economy automation, or you can imagine like a perfect coach telling you exactly what to do.
Darren, ping it, ping it.
Oh.
Ping it. We need to let our team know what's up.
Pure macro games are almost mathematical
So
puzzles.
so it's just games that you need to be insanely smart for, pretty much. Like you just need to know everything about the game. So that's like the game sense.
Think
So
factorial.
so technically, R6 has both of these, like wall hacks, knowing stuff you're not supposed to know. Macro, like with macro, it's just knowing everything, all the operators, just game sense. I wonder what the third one is.
Polybridge, Connect 4,
It's
tic-tac-toe.
micro, right?
Once you find the optimal solution, the game is solved. But here's where it gets really interesting. Most games aren't just one of these. They're combinations of them.
Yep.
And the combination tells you everything about
Oh,
what kind of game
wait,
it
this is what I'm
is.
saying.
So let's look at micro plus macro. These tend to be single-player precision games. You need to know the optimal solution and execute it fast. Think Rubik's Cube speedrunning, Mario 64, Jump King, and getting over it. If you were to have a perfect micro cheat in Elden Ring, you'd have perfect dodge.
So the games I like is just a mix, like pretty much games that are really hard to get good at. Like you have to dedicate, like, not years, but you have to dedicate a lot of time
But
to
if you were
get
to
good
have
at
a
it.
perfect macro cheat, you'd use the mathematically optimal build. But there's one weird multiplayer outlier here. 8-ball pool. There's a mathematically optimal shot, and then there's the skill of actually hitting it. So even though it is player versus player, the room for mind games doesn't really exist. And I think it's a rare exception. Next, let's look at micro plus meso. This is PvP skill expression games. These tend to be your fighting games. Street Fighter, Tekken.
So like boxing games, sport games that's like 1v1 style, games like that.
Smash Bros, Brawlhalla. Your
It
skill
all has
matters
it all
and
looks the
reading your
same pretty
opponents
much.
matters. But also you have some other examples like Mario Kart, like the micro of driving, and the meso of random items and unpredictable opponents. We even see some unique games like Tetris 99. The original Tetris is pure micro, but Tetris 99 also involves meso, because now you're managing who to send the garbage to. You also have physics-based PvP, like Fall Guys and Gang Beasts, which also fits into micro plus meso. The next one is meso plus macro. These are the mind and math games. Think Hearthstone, TFT, Pokemon VGC, and Battleship. Now, chess is theoretically a pure macro game, but at the human level, there's a massive meso component. You're optimizing for your specific opponent's habits. That's why studying opponent matters in high-level chess. And then there are some weird outliers. Balatro is a single-player game, but it's also meso-macro because the RNG of the card combines with the math of max.
I'm just gonna say, like, I don't like games like this. Like, I don't like games that are only one. Like, I like games that are only one, but I don't really like games that are like two. So like, if it's a mix of two of them, there's a good chance I won't like it. Like, either mixes. If it's one, it kind of just depends. And all three, there's a good chance I like it.
Maximizing your hand. You're not executing anything difficult, but you have to pick and choose your cards wisely, and play to their biggest strength. Phasmophobia is also a weird game that fits into Meso-Macro. It's a co-op game, but it fits here because you're deducing a ghost using evidence, which is macro, while the ghost behavior has RNG, meso. Although I suspect non-PvP Meso-Macro games slowly converge towards pure macro over time. Once players fully map the RNG, it stops feeling uncertain and becomes a speedrun problem. And then there's the middle, all
Yep.
three overlapping. This is where the biggest competitive games live.
Yep. These
League
are the
of
games I
Legends,
like.
Dota 2, CS2, Valorant, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Rocket League, Apex, Rainbow Six, World of Warcraft. But here's the thing.
But the thing is, I don't like some of those games. I guess it just depends. Like there's one component that I like the most, and if there's too little of that, I won't like the game. So it's kind of like you can't really explain to somebody, "Oh, I like this game." Like no, I like these types of games. It's kind of like I like this amount of this types of games, and then it's just very complicated.
They're not all the same balance.
Exactly.
And the cheat test tells you how exactly they differ. So let's use Counter-Strike as an example. Can aimbot win a game of CS completely alone? Almost certainly yes. If you never miss, most duels are over before they start. That makes micro extremely
Yep.
high in CS2. But what about X-Ray, seeing through walls? Pros have done experiments with one player with X-Ray versus 5 without X-Ray. The 5 still usually win, but the X-Ray player takes rounds they have no business taking. This makes Mezzo very high in CS2 too, which means macro, the strategic layer, is relatively the lowest.
So it's
CS
just about
isn't
aim
about long-term
and
economy
knowing where they are.
optimization the way MOBAs are. The rounds are short and the execution is everything. But let's try this test with Overwatch, and right away we see a unique case, because the answer actually depends on your role. But since it varies so heavily by character and roles, I decided to ask someone who knows about Overwatch way better than I do.
Elad.
So if you compare all three maxed out versions of the perfect version of it, like a cheat version of
Yeah.
it, which one would have the highest win rate and how would the distribution be?
I would just say support is more macro heavy, DPS is more micro heavy, and then tank is more meso heavy.
Oh, okay.
Also, the way that it works is you have offense, defense, and control.
Yep.
Control refers to map control. Offense refers to offensive options. Defense refers to defensive options.
So this is a
And
little bit more
if you
complicated.
a character's mixture or kind of design links to this concept of offense, defense, and control. Tanks tend to depend on more control. Supports more defense. DPS more offense. And if you actually dissect each individual hero, they will have different varying levels or varying focuses on offense, defense, or control.
So I'm thinking about it like this, right? If you were to give each role one cheat, you would give aimbot to DPS. And
Yes.
for
Yeah.
tank, you would give the ability to see enemy cooldowns as a perfect cheat, right? And
Yeah.
for supports, you would have a coach or an engine, perfect coach.
Yes,
in your head.
that's perfect. That's exactly perfect. And also, especially in Overwatch, because it's 5v5, because you only have one tank. If you can win every duel as a tank, that's kind of like a free win for your team.
But what about Apex? Apex sits remarkably balanced across all three. If you think about which player is most likely to win, a guy with perfect aimbot, a guy with perfect wall hacks, or a guy with perfect ring knowledge, all three actually has a pretty good chance of winning the game.
Because it's more
If you
balanced.
have aimbot, you can easily kill anyone rotating, but any close range fight will tend to go either way. But with perfect wall hacks, you can use your nades and abilities to take a team down, but you'll still lose to someone with good ring positioning. But even with perfect ring information, you could still easily die to someone who wants to contest that position. But let's test this in a really unique game. Rocket League. I
Yep.
asked Pro Rocket League coach Luke on his answer to this thought experiment, and this was his response. Basically, perfect micro or perfect mechanics in Rocket League would be defined as taking the ball from point A to point B as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Like how in a first-person shooter, aimbot moves the crosshair to the target as quickly and as efficiently as possible. For
Rocket League is an insanely complicated game, but it's also not that hard to get good at. At least for me.
Rocket League, smarts cannot make up for the fact that a more mechanical person can just take the ball to the open net far more than someone with less mechanics. This makes Rocket League heavily micro dominant. But after micro being the most dominant, he put macro second and meso last. This is because even if perfect meso allows you to hear enemy comms or see enemy boost, doesn't change the fact that all information in Rocket League is able to be known at all times. And for how fast-paced the game is at the highest level, listening to a perfect coach verbatim would be better over hearing enemy comms or seeing enemy boost. Also, the closest thing to perfect micro in Rocket League is the AI bots. I came across footage of 3 semi-pro players versing 3 of the best Rocket League AI.
Crap, and you're dusted, bro. Oh my god.
And the 3 AI bots were able to win comfortably. So here's what this framework actually gives you.
Because they're AI!
It helps classify games, but it also helps understand yourself as a player. I noticed something when I looked at which games I genuinely enjoy.
Okay, let's just see the games I actually like to play and I enjoy. So, let's see. So, Micro Meso, Fall Guys, I like playing that game. I like playing the 8 ball, Micro Macro. I don't really like playing Meso Macro games, it doesn't look like. And all of my favorite games are actually in the middle. I like Clash Royale, Fortnite, Rainbow Six, COD, most Rocket League, most of the games that I like are in the middle. But also there's some games that I really don't like at all. And that's just because of like they're too little on the actual factor that I like. So it's kind of complicated to tell somebody what games you would like.
I gravitate toward games in the middle, the full micro meso macro cluster, and toward pure micro and pure macro, but I don't really enjoy micro macro games. Speedrunning doesn't scratch the right itch for me. And when I looked at why, it mapped exactly. In Apex, I'd argue I aim pretty well and have respectable movement. I'd say I also have a solid understanding of rotations and ring positioning, but I tend to tunnel vision in close quarter fights, specifically when we're in the same building. So I tend to miss meso reads when the pressure is high. And this exactly explains the gap in my game. Because here's the real insight. Every player has a natural lean. Some people are micro players. They grind mechanics obsessively, and they want the skill gap to feel fair. Some people are meso players. They love reading people, and they thrive in the chaos of PvP randomness. Like we even see a common cluster of people who play Among Us, GTA RP, luck-based games like gambling, along with many other party games. And then we also see that some players are macro players.
But I do know that I really don't like adventure games, games that you have to like that the number one thing is progressing. I like games where you have to progress with a mix of everything. Cuz I like progressing in games that I actually like. I don't like the whole game being progressing.
They love efficiency, they draw routes on maps, they think about the game between games more than during it. And most of us are a mix, but not an equal mix. The games that frustrate you the most, they're probably demanding something your brain doesn't naturally give. The games you keep coming back to, they're probably rewarding the part of you that already runs at full power. Genre labels never told you any of this. Action RPG doesn't tell you whether you'll be grinding execution, reading opponents, or solving systems. It just tells you there's a sword and a level bar. And maybe more importantly, you can stop blaming yourself when a game doesn't click. Cause maybe the games are testing things you haven't built yet. In my case, it's the underdevelopment of meso. And that's the 3 dimensions of games: micro, meso, macro. Every game lives somewhere inside them. And now that you know where to look, you'll never see a
I feel like I don't really know how to tell, but like I feel like I don't like this. Like this is my least favorite. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I don't even know. I mean, like no games that I like is right here. No games I like is right here. One game I like is right here. One game I like is right here. These are just games that like I sometimes play on like a road trip or something. These like 1 or 2 of these games I like to play sometimes. But my most favorite games are in the middle. And I don't think they're very high in macro. I don't know.
game the same way again.